It was hit home to me again yesterday as my wife and I said our final goodbyes to a dear friend who is losing her battle with cervical cancer. I realized that, we need to continue this fight, within our community, within our country, within the world, against cancer.
We do see a lot of gynecologic cancer in this area, the second most common being ovarian cancer, but ovarian cancer is the most deadly of the gynecologic cancers.
For approximately 20 years, Ann Smith was one of my mom's dearest friends. My mother had breast cancer 20 years before she was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. When my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer in 1994, Ann was one of her biggest supporters and just saw her through so much of the difficult times of it. And my mom was devastated when Ann was diagnosed. I'm sorry. And it was a terrible loss. Ann was really just an amazing human being.
She was going through this illness and she was all about giving back, doing something, preventing it, making people around her happy, and thinking of others before her, even though she was going through this treatment. We were having our second child, Sam, and Sam was born in September. And one of Ann's last things was she used to do needlework, and she said that she needed to finish Sam's needlepoint before she passed, even though she never had a chance to meet him.
Our son Sam was born 6 weeks after she had died.
So that's
she did that for all the babies.
And that's the type of person that she was.
My mom survived 3 years and then passed away in 2017. They were great friends and they laughed a lot together. And Matt and I, when something comes up, whether it be the anniversary of either one of their deaths or Mother's Day, sometimes we'll text back and forth and say that they were probably enjoying a glass of Chardonnay in heaven because they like to have a lot of time spent together and a lot of fun and silliness. So I like to think that they're enjoying that same friendship in heaven now.
We increased again the amount of high schools that have participated in different sports. Of course, we've had football and we've had soccer. It's now expanded to both boys and girls. A lot of volleyball games. It continued on into ice hockey this winter with Bishop McCourt against Westmont, had a teal out game.
I've known a lot of special women in my life, and someone like Sally Oakley has, changed everything for me, and she's really so special in my life. And the fact that I lost her, with my brothers and the rest of our family lost her, a year and a half ago, it breaks our heart. And on my dad's side, my grandma, she is also, going through some tough times as well.
For all the men and all the young men that are here with us tonight of all ages, share this information with the women in your lives.
So that's been very exciting to see that we're continuing to reach further into the different schools at various different ages.
Last year, it just so happened that four of the girls on the team had family members who had ovarian cancer, who had passed away recently of ovarian cancer, so that actually struck pretty close to home. My sister-in-law, their aunt, passed away with ovarian cancer. She unfortunately never had a chance to even fight the fight because she died of complications prior to even getting it out. So it was kind of a drive for us, and just being able to reach out to young girls with the soccer team and through the school, that was a good way for us to get a lot of information out to everyone. The second week in September, we all met one Saturday morning. All the girls' soccer team went uptown, and they did some coining, and the community was very generous. It was amazing the number of people that stopped in the cars, and they had stories of family members, mothers, sisters.
One guy even donated a $100 bill, and he told us, he was just like, hey, like this affected our family too. Like we want to help anyone else that we can out.
The Laurel Auto Group came in, they brought the car, and we also invited another school.
Central Cambria.
And we invited them to bring any members of the community they had or family members to come with us to release balloons.
I attended that game last fall, and it was pouring rain, and they brought everybody out onto the field. And the young ladies were so moved by the experience. They were all crying. They were all very engaged. They had lost a very special lady in their lives.
Yes.
Yeah, like Central Cambria and us, we all both walked out together, like, and then at the end of the game we both got a picture together. And we were really big rival teams too, so which made it nice to like see like big rivals that like we probably never would have talked to them, to just come together, and they helped us celebrate the night.
For me, that was an amazing experience to see them come together for a cause. They were very proud of what they did. They came to the dealership a couple of months later, and that was a little bit of a happier moment for them. We've been supporting all these schools and providing them resources. Now they're taking it and creating their own event and raising money on their own, and they're coming back and supporting the foundation. So it's really growing in ways that I can't honestly say I would have ever expected, but it's really heartwarming.
Sue was a soccer player, and then with it affecting, I know like our one girl who couldn't make it, her grandma recently passed away,
recently in the last
and another
months.
girl's other grandma, and it just, you didn't know how many people it actually really did affect.
Potentially about 15% of all ovarian cancers are hereditary.
I don't have any sisters. My parents had no sisters. We were very boy heavy, so there wasn't a lot to go on, but my mom had first cousins that had breast cancer. Her grandmother had breast cancer. My mom had breast cancer. So my message is for women that have some kind of strong history or possible strong history to talk to your doctor.
It's important that if women have a strong family history of breast and or ovarian cancer, that they speak with their physicians and determine whether or not they would be candidates for genetic counseling and testing.
I was already a candidate to have a hysterectomy, and in 2016 I had a hysterectomy and my ovaries removed just because it wasn't in my plans to, let fate play out necessarily. And for me, that was a great move. And since then, I have known women that had breast cancer previously that decided to do the same thing, whether they just had their ovaries removed or they had a total hysterectomy like I did. And I just think it's important for women to talk to their doctors if that's something that could potentially save their lives.
The color wrap book was one of the great joys of Anne's life in teaching.
When my mom used the color wraps in the classroom, it was something that she always wanted to do, was to actually write children's books, and this one was one she wanted to start with.
She worked very hard on creating rhymes and putting colors and smells and tastes together to make reading really a fun event, and she loved making learning easy for early childhood children.
Some of the people that have been attending the golf tournament for so many years may remember in 2014 when we introduced the color wrap book, and it came out of the Miller family, Amber and Ashley, that created a copy of the book for their mom as a Christmas present. Over these years, we've had constant requests for more books, and can you bring more books to our classroom? Can we buy more books? And we've not had a way to do that. So this year we took a little bit of a closer look at what we could do to make the book, elevate it to become a professional publication. And
we had to create our own publishing company. which was an interesting thing, but I guess that's how this works. Something new that we had to learn about in getting a book actually published.
We had Morgan create the font that's used throughout the book and then built a bit of a story around how she came up with the idea, how it was meant to be used. And so many people have been a part of creating this today. The finished product is an actual book that now has an official barcode and an ISDN number, and it's something that can actually be sold or distributed.
We are very thankful for the work of the Miller family in helping to get this book published.
Our goal now is to create the Color Wrap reading program, which is already being used in some kindergarten classrooms.
Just like Ann, I'm a kindergarten teacher at the Wimber Area School District. I actually teach in the classroom right next to where Ann taught for so many years. Reading stories to children is so important, but to have a story written by one of our own influential teachers makes it even more special and more important to us. I use Ann's Color Wrap book to start off the year in my classroom. It is a fun and interactive way for students to learn their color words. Ann said, if we can help just one person, we are going to make a difference. Giving students in a low socioeconomic school district their own copy of a book to take home that we have read repetitively in class and one that they can be successful at reading is such a special way to honor Ann and to keep her love of reading and her legacy alive.
We're going to start in our region and then we're going to reach a little bit further, and hopefully kindergarten classrooms, it will be introduced and they can use it casually through their learning process, and the student can take the book home at the end of the year and maybe pass it on to a sibling.
Hopefully it'll become a staple in kindergartens both throughout our region and throughout the state of Pennsylvania in the years to come.
I can't believe that it's really now in print again, and my mom would be so thrilled to see that this book is really coming alive again, and our ambition is that it is in every kindergarten class within the area, and maybe even wider, maybe throughout the U.S. and maybe even beyond the U.S. if I can take it back to Norway with me.
My daughter Jennifer is a certified teacher here in Pennsylvania, and she has decided to teach online overseas internationally children how to speak English. She has been introduced to the Color Wrap book in the past, and when I told her we were republishing it, I asked her if she could include this in her curriculum, and she of course jumped on the idea and asked me if I could purchase her some books. I'm going to take these books and she's going to send them to her regular students and start teaching it as part of her curriculum.
Toyota's honored to be a partner with this event and a proud sponsor of this event since its inception for a number of reasons. I think despite sort of the sad origin of the event, the fact that it's been able to really take Ann's legacy and play it forward and generate a lot of exposure for something that doesn't get a lot of attention and inevitably touch and save a lot of lives after the fact is always a nice thing for us to say we get a chance to be a part of. And really more to the fact, I think, just like all vehicles aren't created equal, there's plenty of other choices in the marketplace beyond just Toyota. We strongly believe not all dealers are created equal, and we're fortunate to have a really special partnership with Mike and Matt Smith as our dealers and representatives here, to where everybody that's a Toyota dealer we expect can sell a car well and service a car well, but the thing that really differentiates Mike and Matt and Laurel Toyota, I think, is their involvement in the community and the additional things that they're able to do to really elevate themselves amongst their peer group and represent really the best values that Toyota and the Smith family, us collectively share. So yeah, it's a thrill for us to be a part of this, to have been a part of it since the inception is a real proud honor for us. And again, one of the things that we look forward to every year, getting a chance to not only be a sponsor for this event, but know that we're attached to something that's doing good throughout the community 365 days a year. I'm sure this day's event is more outward reflection of the charity, but I'm sure it's a lot of hard work going into this important effort throughout the year. So it's nice for us to get a chance to recognize all the people within the charity and to represent Ann's proud legacy with something like this.
We, as the Smith family, are really blown away by the support that we get year after year from the community, from our family, from friends. And now, of course, with the book, this is something that we are extremely proud of. And we know my mom would be really thrilled to see this going so wide and reaching so many children. That was her passion. And if we can keep doing this and reaching other people in the community, then she would be thrilled and we would feel that we've really accomplished something.
On behalf of the entire Smith family, I can't begin to thank all of you that have gone on this journey with us these past 19 years. It's certainly been a journey of love.
Every year the ballots keep coming back in with the checks for sponsorships and groups, and we're blessed again to have a full field again this year. And I just want to say thank you. We couldn't do it without you.
Your contributions, to the foundation are incredible, and what fuels and energizes all of us to keep going with initiatives throughout our region so that we can get the message out, to each and every woman, young and old. Again, thank you very much, and we look forward to seeing you for an exciting 20th year in 2020.
Celebrating a 20th year anniversary next year is something that I don't think any of us ever thought was going to happen, and we couldn't do it without your help, and for that we're eternally grateful. So thank you very much.
Thank you to everyone who's been a part of this.
Thank you.